So welcome back my friends, and in this video we're going to be creating our API route. Okay, so right here you can see we have a route called search API slash search. So let's just go over to our routes, and on our API by default this route is /API. So all what we just need to do, we don't actually need to authenticate anyone, so we can just say route. Okay, and this is a get request. So we just say /search. Okay, and right here we're going to use a controller. So we're going to create a controller and we're going to call the controller search controller. Okay, and right here we're going to use the class, and this we search because we want to use a method called search. Okay, so let's just go ahead and create the controller right now. Let's create a new tab on our terminal, and right here we just going to say php artisan make controller. Okay, and this we're going to create a new folder called api, and we're going to have the search controller within the api folder. Okay, so let's just go ahead and click enter, and this will create a new folder called api under our controller folder. So you can see the folder right here, api, and we have the search controller right here. And one last thing we need to do here is to actually import this class. Okay, because we actually need to use this class right here. Okay, so on the search controller, let's just do uh, probably something simple. So let's do public um, function. So let's make this a probably a static method. So this will be function, and right here we're going to have the search right here. Okay, probably we might not want to make this a static method, but it all depends. So right here we're going to return, we actually have some request parameters that are actually being sent, and right here we're going to say $request. And now let's just do something simple, and let's just return on $request. Okay, and we're going to say all, probably request all. Okay, so this is just all we need to do. And right now if we should go ahead and search again, you can now see we're getting 200, which is valid. And right here let's just see, and this is the request that is being sent right there. So with this we can now perform our queries with this. So to actually search through the modules, different modules we have, we're going to be searching through two modules. We're going to be searching the category module, and we're going to be searching the product module, and we're going to be using a very simple package, which is Splices Searchable. I said this at the beginning of the video, so let's just go ahead and install that package. You can install it using composer require Splices Laravel package. So the link to this will be in the description for the video, so you can do this and just click enter. I've installed this, I've installed it behind the scene, and you can see in my composer.json file, you can see the package right there. Okay, so just go ahead and install it, and let's just continue. Now the first thing we need to do right here is to actually validate this request. If the request doesn't have an S, because at the end of the day we send it this with using a get request parameter, and we send the index array index is actually S. So if this request does not carry this value, we're actually going to return a fault to error code. Okay, so let's just go ahead and say and actually validate this. So let's just go ahead and actually validate this, and I'm going to say this. Okay, and I'm going to say validate, and right here we're going to do request. Okay, and right here we're going to say probably S, and this will be set to required. Okay, so this will be required. And the next thing, one thing I need you guys to actually take note right here is that the fact that I'm using One thing you need to take note is the fact that I'm sending this request from a browser. If I'm sending this request from an API client application, probably from Postman or a similar app to Postman, this will actually throw an error, because this will actually redirect you to a page, right? To probably a page, right? So this will actually redirect you to a page, but for this further, I'm sending it from a browser, we're just going to be we're just going to be sent the response. So this is just going to return its response with a 422 error. Okay, so we're getting an error here, and the reason why we're getting this error is this is a static method. So let's just take this from a static method, and the error is gone. Okay, so let's check this again. So let's send the request again. Everything still works perfectly. Okay, so if we send the request without a query, you can see we get a 422 right here. Okay, so which says data given data type was invalid. So to actually check against this, if you go ahead right here, and you can just do a simple check and just say if, okay, if probably dollar sign, this is actually not a dollar sign, and you can say search word. Okay, you can say search word, this search word dot length, okay, is less than 1. Okay, if it's less than 1, you might want to actually show some error. So if this is not less than 1, then we want to actually run the operation. Okay, this is actually what we want to do. So if the search is less than 1, so if the length is less than 1, we don't want to run this operation. So this is just like a simple check that you can do. So if we should come here and refresh, and let's just do enter, you can see nothing is happening. So probably you might want to show some error message right here, like um, type something to actually search. You might want to do that, but I'm not actually going to do that. You can just do it on your own. So let's go back to controller. So the next thing we actually need to do after installing the package is to actually prepare our modules. Okay, we need to actually prepare our category modules and our post modules, because we're going to be searching through these modules. So any modules that you're going to be searching through, you need to actually prepare them. And to actually prepare them, it's actually very simple. So all you need to do is go over to the module. So probably we want to search 3 modules together. So to actually do this, go over to the modules, and probably it will be good if you define relationship between your modules. It will be very good if you define relationship between your modules. So let's start with the product modules. Now let's start with the relationships. Okay, now the first relationship we need to define is the product belongs to some categories. This is the first thing we need to actually define. So let's go over right here and just say public function. Okay, and let's just say category. Okay, a product must belong to a category, right? So we can return and say this belongs to, and let's use the category class, and this will be class. Okay, so let's just go ahead and import this, and the next thing is a and the next thing that we might define is a product must belong to a store. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. So this is not something you must do, because on your app a product might not belong to a store, but for me a product must belong to a store. So let's just say let's just say store, and we're going to return this, which actually belongs to store. Okay, so this is store, and we're going to say class. Okay, and this is all we need to do. Let's just import this. Okay, now the next thing we need to actually do on this module is that we need to implement Searchable. Okay, so this is actually some interface. The Searchable is actually an interface, so we need to actually implement this. Okay, so this will be implement Searchable. Okay, this will be Searchable. So let's just go ahead and import that. So we have the class right here. Okay, so we've actually implement this. So the next thing we need to do is we need to actually implement a method. So you can see it here, does not implement a method. So if you know about interface, you know that interface are just if we should click on Searchable, so this is actually an interface. You can see the interface right here. Interface are just like guides. Okay, so we actually need to implement this method right here in our module. We must actually implement it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and implement that method, and right here we're going to say public, okay, function. This is actually a function, and right here is get search result. Okay, this is all we need to do. You can see the search right there, search results right there. So right here we need to define a URL. We need to actually define a URL, because at the end of the day, when the results are out, when the results are listed, we actually want to click on each of the results to actually take us to the product or the store or the category. Okay, so for this is a product, so we need to actually have a route for the product. So right here we're going to say route URL is equal to route. Okay, and right here we're going to say product dot show. Okay, this is still the normal route in Laravel. So if you are used to Laravel, you know what this route actually does. Then we need to pass the ID to it. Okay, so this will be ID, and this is all we need to do. And right here, all we just need to do right here is to actually return something. Okay, so let's just go ahead and return new, and we just need to use the namespace flight searchable slash forward slash search results. Okay, slash result right there, because at the end of the day we need to return a search result. That's what this means, and we're going to be returning a new instance of the search result right here. Okay, hopefully this makes sense to you. Then this takes some parameters. If you should check it right here, if you check it right here, the construct method takes some parameters, which is the searchable, the title, and the URL. Okay, so let's just go ahead and implement all this. So for the searchable is going to be this class right here, this product class right here. So this will be $ this. Then the next thing we need to do define is the title. So this will be $name, which is actually the title for that product. Okay, which is actually the product name now. So right here we need to actually define pass the URL that we just defined, and basically this is all we need to do. So let's just put a semicolon right here. So let's just go ahead and put a semicolon right here, and this is basically how we can prepare our model. So we're going to do the same thing to the category and the store. So let's just go ahead and copy this for this category. So we're going to copy this. So let's go over to our category, and let's just implement the searchable. So this will be searchable, and right here we need to actually use that method. Okay, now we've implemented this method right here. So let's just import this. So let's just import this, and this right here will be category. Okay, so we're going to be creating the route, so this will be category. Okay, so if you're using, probably you using a SPA, probably you're using Vue CLI or React CLI, you don't need to actually do this. You can just form your URL from the data you're getting from your response. Okay, so I'm actually putting this because I'm using Laravel. I'm using Laravel for both the front end and the back end now. So if you're just using Laravel API, you don't actually know this. You can just form your URL from the data you're getting. Okay, that's all you need to do. And right here we need to actually define some relationship. So let's just go ahead and define some relationship real quick, and this will be a public function. And right here we need to define a relationship with the store. Okay, and right here we need to say this return this as many store. So the category will have many store, and this will be store, and this will be class, right? So this is just all we need to do. So let's go ahead and import this. So this will be store, and the next thing we need to do is the category will have many products. Okay, so this will be products. So let's just name this properly. So this is stores. Okay, and this is products. So this will return this as many this will be products, and this will be class right here. Okay, this is all we need to do. So let's just import this, and the last thing we need to do is go over to our store.php and actually prepare this. So we're going to do the same thing, and this will implement searchable. Okay, right here we just need to paste this and import this class, import this class right here. So this will be store. Okay, this will be store, and the next thing we can now do is to define the relationship. Okay, so this public function, and this will be category. Okay, and this will actually belong to a category. So return this belongs to a category. Okay, so this will be category, and we want to use the class. Okay, let's just go ahead and import this, and the next thing we need to do is products. Okay, so for store we have many products. Okay, so this will be public function, and this will be products, and right here this will return this as many. This is actually one. This will as many, and this will be products. Okay, so let's just get the spelling correct, and this will be products, and we want to use the class right here. Okay, now that we're done with preparing our classes to actually run the query on them, then the next thing we need to do is come back to our search controller and actually write all these queries. So we're going to be writing some advanced query. So probably we do that in the next video. This video is taking longer than I expected, so I'll see you in next video, guys.